Time to catch a man.
That's it. Dunsky. Right, Time to Catch a Man, and that is a beautiful segue and entry point to the most enjoyed and important social event of the Tallyford year, the North Lakes Ball, where all of the eligible bachelors will be found, Eliza. So good that you called that out as we kicked off. So the Lord and Lady Northlake request the pleasure of your company at their annual end of summer ball this Saturday fortnight, sorry. Please RSVP. So the Northlakes are the richest family in Tallyford. They hold this ball once a year. It's quite the social set event. And you have all been invited. Now, the reasons for your invitation, I can imagine, vary a little bit. Mostly when I say that, I'm referring to the rector and Reginald Duplessis, whose invitation. Well, no, the rector. Rector, do you run an actual, church, or are you vicar at large? Tending to the spiritual needs of Lady Purbeck, as opposed to having to trouble yourself with a whole church full of, the unwashed.
Well, I actually oversee 3 church sites. My 2 sons are curates at 2 of them, and then there's a third. And I kind of just appear between all those ones, and I can go off and do other things, such as assist Lady Purbeck in her endeavours.
Spiritual needs.
And worldly.
Related.
Worldly needs. The rumours that have started from that statement alone. Anyway, all right.
My art-related needs.
That's right.
I'm just hoping /assuming /hoping that maybe I had somehow attached myself to Lady Purbeck's household. How does that fit with
I'm
you?
sure you have. I have no doubt that you have attached yourself to Lady Purbeck's household in a way that people of your particular skill set
for Lady Purbeck's household.
I teach drama and dance.
Oh, beautiful.
Okay. And
yes. That would be very essential learning for Miss Wentworth and Miss Hastings.
And some Belgian lessons as well. Belgian,
Yes, I mean, because every young lady must be very accomplished if she's ever to hope to find a husband.
Your dancing skill is not off the charts. Okay.
How's his persuade?
Make it till you make it. It just has to be better than Georgiana and Eliza's, technically.
Everyone else's, exactly, yeah.
What is my dancing?
Yeah,
39,
no,
right,
absolutely. So I was just checking into...
Well,
your charm is 65 and your psychology is 55.
What I judged it on.
And my disguise is 55. I could actually be your household, discoverer of secrets and things like that as well. Something like that. In whichever manner you wish to.
So with that in mind, I was going to say, with your deep expertise, you could actually have given the ladies, particularly the younger ladies of the house, an opportunity to advance their dancing skills, but you're actually not good enough to do that. You're not actually a good enough dance master to actually train people to be better dancers, which is mildly humorous.
Forge,
they might believe
forging and disguise. I could probably teach them that instead.
You're doing the fake it until you make it logic of dancing.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So with that in mind, now that we've cracked through that boundary, is there anything you specifically want to do in preparation for this grand event? The once a year, the set. It is the event for the set of the year.
Yeah. New dresses. Absolutely. We must go
absolutely
up to
new
town
dresses.
And get
you
new
must
dresses.
go up to town. Okay, so as it turns out,
I wonder if we managed to bring back any fabric from Paris, or we had to all abandon it when Napoleon turned up.
no, unfortunately, it didn't
Bloody
make it back from
Barney!
Paris.
We just had to run for it.
I blame the deeply unsettling folk of the boat who failed apparently to get you to appropriately transport your gear here. Now I'm just looking for the names. There's two seamstress. Well, there's two places of such things in town. God damn it! I know their names. I just can't see. Where's the list of the NPCs? There's like, because of course Tallyford has a whole range of these people. Here we go. There's the nobles. Don't need the nobles. They're boring. Yeah, don't need them. Oh, there's your arch nemesis, Cedric, the Reverend Byron Choke.
I see.
Who is the vicar of the St. Bridget's Church in Tarryford, and a man who does not regard you as an equal. It's constantly.
Oh well, I'll just have to get some dirt.
You've got Elstone's Muslins and Fortham's Drapers. So Fortham's Drapers is currently under the guiding hand of Millicent Fortham, who is a lady, not a lady, but a woman. She has run the shop with an iron hand. Her husband is never seen, although rumour has it is still alive. And her daughter, Miss Harriet Fortham, is quite well known as a dressmaker of some skill. However, as is the want of things, a more recent arrival in town, Mr. Isaac Elston Taylor, has moved into town and set up a shop a couple of a street away from Fortham's Drapers, Elstone's Muslins, which is famous for importing the finest muslin that you have seen. And it is, of course, the preferred fabric of evening gowns at the moment. So the question I have for you, Lady Purbeck, is, do you stay with your trusted relationship with Miss Millicent Fortham and her daughter Harriet, or are you tempted by Mr. Isaac Elston's finest London muslins, recently imported
I'm sure
from
that we
Paris?
are very tempted by the fabrics, but there is no way that I'm having my young ladies be measured up by a man. Shocking. Absolutely shocking. Not a chance. We shall, of course, be staying with Fortham.
Okay, so Mr. Isaac Elston will sadly have to rate in rest. So you make yourselves dragging your accompanying ship of state and it's a small flock of destroyers that keep it safe, herded in behind it. Or perhaps I should refer to you as Mother Duck with the little ducklings, traveling behind. You arrive at Fortham's Drapers, the largest fabric shop in Tarryford. Now she provides fabric for both day wear and evening wear. And a number of other ladies, obviously in preparation for the ball, are gathered here. You arrive, with both Eliza and Georgiana, or just with Georgiana?
Absolutely, both of them.
Both of them, okay.
They must both be shown off in the best light. Their appearance and behaviour will reflect upon me, so I have to make sure that they look just the part. And to treat that fine line between being very elegant and dressing according to their station, but not being daring. Can't be having that.
Okay.
Yes.
Can
I interject and just say, at this point, I don't think that Eliza particularly cares, right? It's just clothes at the end of the day. But I will say she would care more, perhaps, if as we're walking around the ton. On the way to this haberdasher's, whether or not there are any new people around, particularly interesting men who look like they're educated and from London. Because then she might actually care more about actually parading herself in the haberdashers.
Okay. You have heard rumour that 2 gentlemen recently arrived from London, may be attending the ball.
Okay.
The oldest of these is George Potterton, who has not been seen much around Tarryford for the last few years, for he has been in London working as a banker and apparently making a very fine go of it indeed. And the second, whose name I will get you in a second. Oh, yep. Sorry, go, Eliza.
Oh no! I was just like, what's the other one? Because banker would bore her, as it does me, as I work in a bank.
The other one, I'm just trying to find his now. Oh no, that's the Elstons. Oh no, maybe it's just. Oh my God, maybe there is only just Georgie. I don't think it was just Georgie.
You
I
could
thought there
just
was
make up another one for fun.
A fun one.
Sean. Oh no, I've got it.
Okay.
Yes, of course. There is rumor that a gentleman, possibly not well regarded, has recently passed away, and his estate has fallen under the care of a newly arrived gentleman who, rumour has it, has travelled the continent.
Oh.
Mr. Robert Williams. One of the reasons why his father was deemed a little sus was he collected books that perhaps many felt were not necessarily appropriate for, the mild or the well-mannered gentleman of the ton. And the rumour has it, Sir Mr. Robert is already showing similar behaviours.
Well, considering that, now that got me as my character. I'm like, I think that Eliza is very much of the belief that there is no such thing as a book that shouldn't be read or that can't be read. And the idea of the archaic practice of book burning, surely that wouldn't ever happen again in history.
Surely.
I think that entices her, and I think that normally to one of these things, when she's like pushed along to something like this, she'll be like yes, and she's like reading a book at the same time just to like dissociate enough to be able to actually get through it. But I think that today she's not got a book in her hand, but instead she has a lace fan, and she's kind of eagle-eyed around, like they're walking on the gravel. We've got that sound of like the gravel as we're kind of walking through, and just kind of spying out. So she's being very agreeable today.
Unusually
About
so, I
going
think,
out
would be the line.
get new dresses.
Indeed, rather than shooting or reading a book in the library.
All right, and Georgiana, any interest in either of the 2 gentlemen who have appeared on the scene?
I think for Georgiana, she's mostly trying to stay in Lady Purbeck's good books at the moment, because the more she does that, the less it's noticed that she sometimes, might spend a bit too much time with certain books in the library. But I mean, she might obviously be intrigued, like Eliza, at the mention of, books and things like that. Oh,
Yep.
I wonder what that is. But overall, I think that she's probably a bit more self-absorbed than Eliza at the moment. So it's not really registering as much. At the moment, again, she's just concentrating on trying to be basically, as well-behaved and demure as possible as a show for Lady Purbeck.
Fair enough. Okay. Well, you're at Fotham's haberdashery, and as you arrive, you see a carriage pull up, and four women, women and younger, maybe girls, sort of appear to unfold from within the carriage. Now, the oldest of these women, she's reasonably well known around Tarryford. That's Miss Marianne Potterton. So the Pottertons, very tragically, mother died several years ago, leaving the family bereft of an older female guide. Marianne, the woman in front, was the oldest daughter. She has a very severe countenance, dresses almost matronly, although you may determine that she's clearly not a matron. She's followed by her three younger sisters, Susan, Lucy, and what's the third one? Clara. That's right. Potterton. All in descending order of height. So Clara first, and then Susan, and then finally Lucy. Now, Eliza, I think it's Susan. No, it might be Clara, actually. One of them is actually probably reasonably, when you've met her before, you probably get on with her quite well because she's quite into books. Clara, yes, it's Clara. So Clara, the next oldest after Marianne, is quite dedicated to education, learning, and such things, and doesn't really, from what you've gained in previous conversations, is not interested in the whole you've got to find a good husband and get married. She doesn't share that belief at all. But Marianne is very insistent that all of her sisters will be well married and set up for life. And so there's this kind of ever-going sort of arrangement and argument. So they've also arrived and are moving into the shop. You rock up at the shop. You're greeted at the doors by the owner. You know very well she's Lady Purbeck, thank you so much for coming. What are you interested, obviously, in the ball that's occurring?
Of course, we've talked of nothing else for days since our invitation has arrived. We, of course, require new dresses for the ball, but I was thinking also maybe a day dress or two. You never know, we might be invited to a shooting party as well. I think at least 2, maybe 3 dresses each. What do you think?
Oh, my lady, I couldn't agree more. Your perception, as always, she says and waves her hand, is one of the most precise. Let me see what I can just get up for you. Perhaps, and she takes you into this very large haberdashery where rolls and rolls of material or folded material is available for you to view. You know that you choose, basically the way this works is you choose the materials you like and then they make the dresses for you. So Harriet, her daughter, produces the dresses once you select the materials. So there's a general sort of movement through. Now, I'm assuming at this point that Cedric and Reginald have not attended the shopping for the clothing and material, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Reginald,
yeah, as to that,
where are you at, buddy?
because Reginald is definitely interested in the ball, but he wants to look his best. So he was hoping to maybe join the ladies, but then probably branch off and go to the tailor at the same, like while they were doing that, perhaps. Because I just want to point out, Thomas, you were a bit remiss in that you only mentioned 2 sort of new handsome men into town. You didn't mention the 3rd. So Reginald wants to be seen. So I think he needs some clothes for there as well. Hopefully he'll have enough money. Otherwise, it might be a forgery role for that letter, that promissory note or something that he had tucked in his. What could go wrong? So yes, please, if I can.
So you branch off to Elston's
Yes.
Muslins to see the tailor. Now, because it's Regency period, one of the things you can do is, in effect, try and get a letter of credit up.
Okay.
And the way that works is, obviously, as a gentleman, or claiming to be a gentleman might be better language, you can seek to establish a letter of credit with, merchants, which puts them in a very difficult position because, of course, if you don't pay the bill, they're the ones who wear the price. But you're already aware of letters of credit. Like, they're quite an innovation as far as you're concerned. Like, the fact that you didn't have to just drop a couple of, sous in a thing is, quite the miracle. Because you have been living hand to mouth after all for the last decade.
Yes.
So you may choose to do so. You would need to, in effect, depend on either if you were trying to set up a letter of credit that you actually intended to be honoured, just to make that very clear, or you would probably need to set that up under the I work for Lady Purbeck, or I'm with
Lady
Lady
drop
Purbeck,
like it's going out of fashion. Yes.
Yeah.
And because I know that he's new in and he's trying to build up his business, and what better way to dress a gentleman who is a favourite of one of the most outstanding ladies of the local.
Absolutely, and Lady Purbeck is known to be quite wealthy in the area, as she is also independently wealthy widow type material. All right, so you carve yourself off this sort of aging French dance master who may not be particularly dance mastery, but has now done the comb over thing with the hair.
Hang on. My appearance is 70, my good man. So.
Sorry. Aging, I've misstated. You are actually attractive. That's where you're going. All right. So no comb over. Okay, I got it. All right. So you actually look, you're the very epitome of a courtly older gentleman. All right. And Rector, are you just intending to turn up at the ball in your black and whites, as it were? With the hat.
Realistically, yeah. I can't think of any other reason why I'd do anything different. I am on the later side of life. I'm not exactly intending on finding a new wife. I'm basically there to be present, but I'll be well dressed. Like, I will. It won't be scungy gear. I mean, heaven forbid. So
it'll be your formal black and whites as opposed to your working black and whites.
Indeed. There's a slightly different texture to the material.
Not the black and white you got murdered in last time. Just whatever.
No. They're my casual black and white.
So, for those of you selecting material and getting dresses made, obviously with a desire to ride the wave of innovation, modern, look, can I ask, Lady Purbeck, are you seeking a more conservative cut, or perhaps taking a risk on the cut of the dress and the what you've heard might be very popular in London right now? Obviously, if you do that, there's the chance that you might get it wrong. With the corresponding implications for your social standing in the community. Mm.
Well, I'm definitely going for a more conservative dress for myself. I mean, I'm an older woman. I've got my particular style. And quite honestly, when you are a ship of state like I am, you just keep going.
You just keep going. Okay. So the question then falls to
for the young ladies,
okay.
You know, I do understand that like fashion moves on and they've got to be up with the times, but I don't want them doing anything risque. So middle of the road is probably where I'd aim for them. I'm probably more conservative for myself, but middle of the road for them is where I'm aiming.
So important question then, Georgiana. Yep, go. Yep.
Well, I was going to say, and Jay, you can correct me if I'm wrong. Georgiana and Eliza are probably going to be going different directions in this, with Georgiana trying to be more conservative than Lady Purbeck likes, and Eliza trying to go the more risque than Lady Purbeck might like.
1000%. Honestly, I gotta say, like while Lady Purbeck is kind of talking directly to was it Mrs. Forthorn?
Mrs.
Fortham.
Sorry, hold on. Fortham. Yep, Fortham.
Fortham. Yeah. Sorry.
Yep.
I keep writing like literally 3 versions of it. Yeah, Fortham.
Yeah.
I think that Eliza takes Harriet aside, and says, "Look, of course, I'd love to see you, Harriet. Now, Lady Purbeck will, of course, be wanting me to be a lot more conservative, you understand, but I don't know if you've heard, but Robert Williams will be potentially at this ball, and I am dying to learn more about rare books, and I'm sure there'll be all sorts of people, you've heard of the scandal, of course, in relation to his family, but and the fortune, but I'm looking to stand out, and I'm looking to at least be able to engage in one dance and one conversation. So anything that you can do at the end of the process to make sure I stand out, that would be very much appreciated.
Okay, can I get a persuade roll from you, please?
Yes, that was you know what? When you nail what skill you wanted it to be. Good. Okay, good. I have a 50. Let's go.
Ooh.
No.
No. Would you like to push that roll?
You know what? Yeah, absolutely.
Would you like me to tell you what the consequence will be if you fail?
Yeah, absolutely. Go for it.
So if you failed this roll, you have probably put Harriet offside, and she might take certain licenses with your dress that will maybe set you slightly back when you first arrive at the ball.
Okay. You know what? This game's about risk. So I am double or nothing, baby. It's a 50%, Here we go.
50% rolled. Here it is, people.
Yay.
And it's an 18. It's a hard success. Smashes it in. All right. So that's it right there, people. That's how you roll. All right. So and people enjoying the fact name, picture.
Yeah. I love it. It's really cool. Yeah. And also the tokens are really nice.
Yes, I quite like the tokens. I should probably be sharing them, I guess. Here we go. I've got them set up somewhere. Sure I do. Yeah, there we go.
No.
Yeah,
we can see them. Yeah.
Yeah, I was putting them up on the screen
for viewers.
Oh, you never know. Someone might one day look. For the one viewer who comes along and watches it, Doug, from
honestly,
Nova Scotia.
I'm probably going to force my housemate to watch me because I'm that vain. So
no, I think fair. It's the whole point.
Exactly.
I respect. I think there was a whole conversation about the vanity of humanity and an earlier discussion about the YouTube videos. Okay, so on that note, so you persuade Harriet to push the boundary of your dress. You've got a hard success. So what I'm going to ask you to do now is make a etiquette roll for me with a bonus dice.
Great.
Because of Harriet's assistance.
Fabulous. Well, I have a 50% etiquette, so let's see how this goes. 1 bonus dice.
Wow.
The same. 18 again. Hard success.
It's 18 twice in a row. So with that in mind, you have a cutting. You have been, because Harriet actually knows what's going on in fashion in London because she's actually making the dresses. So as it turns out, yes, you have the very latest in style appended to you, and you will be able to add. Yeah, I think that's what we'll do. Let me just go to it. Oh, nice. You can add 3 points to your reputation.
Ooh.
Because when you arrive at the ball, you will be wearing the latest fashion from London that will instantly be recognized. You have cut yourself above the crowd, as it were, and will be recognized for your judgment and style when you first arrive.
Fabulous. How do I like, is that somewhere on my character sheet, or we just
Yeah, I've just made it a skill. So, it's not appearing on your sheet. Yeah. I wonder if that's because of the upgrade that occurred a couple of days ago that I had to implement.
I've got reputation on my sheet. It's fine. It's there.
Okay, so it's just me then. Hold on, I've got it here. Let me.
Beautiful.
No, that's not it. Where's the skill set? Oh no, it's in the compendiums. That's why I'm not seeing it. Hold on. Regency skills. There we are. Scroll. Reputation. Oh, bugger. That means we've lost your reputation. Ah, no. Which is half of your etiquette.
Okay.
Plus half of your credit rating.
Oh, okay.
That sounds right. So
half etiquette plus half credit rating means it's 50.
Hold on,
now. Yeah.
I'll just triple check that statement because I'm feeling like that might be understating it slightly, and I just need to double check.
Yeah, I think you're right because it lines up with my one as well.
Oh, okay, cool. Reputation, starting value. Lily, am I getting it right? You might know better than me.
Sorry, I have to admit I haven't dug too
deep
into agency roles.
It is. It's exactly what I said. So half of credit plus half of etiquette. So your reputation should be 50.
53
and now 53.
Wonderful.
There you go.
That is all done.
Wonderful. All right. So Georgiana, your problem is slightly different, but not dissimilar. You could make. So you're trying to make yourself not look like someone who's, on the market.
I honestly don't think that's even really coming into it as much for her. It's more just like she doesn't want to stand out. She doesn't want to be noticed by really anyone. If when Lady Purbeck maybe says something about, oh, look at this really nice bright colored ribbon. It's, maybe this gray one is a bit nicer. Maybe, how about have these decorations? Oh, that might be a bit much. Oh, I don't know, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I might be pushing her to be like, well, you do want the young men to notice you. A little colour here and a pop there, a little bow. No, maybe not.
So
it'll just be this competition of Lady Purbeck will be trying to add stuff and she'll be trying to, take it away and things like that.
Okay, so with that in mind, I know you're abysmal at it because I just looked at your sheet, but could you make a fashion roll for me, please?
Okay.
Because you're just trying to be conservative, I will give you a bonus die in that you're not trying to, you're not trying to do anything other than be, kind of mousy brown. So go for it.
That is still a failure.
It could have been worse. It's still a failure. Okay, so in effect, can I get a fashion roll from Lady Purbeck, please?
Absolutely.
It's an opposed roll effect. Oh, 0.6, of course. Oh my God, Lady Purbeck's got 40% fashion skills. She's like a She's like a fashion. She's a fashion, sort of fashionista. She's a fashionista. That's what I'm looking for.
Well,
All right.
I'm not at the cutting edge of fashion, but I certainly know what looks elegant and what is appropriate.
So with an extraordinary success, which is what you've gotten, unfortunately, Georgiana, despite your very valiant efforts to tone down the spectacular nature of the clothing that you're going to be put in, you are overwhelmed in choice by Lady Purbeck, who has you will be coming out with the very visible wear, appropriately managed, of course, but very visible. Should you choose to use it, you will have a bonus die for charm rolls at the ball.
Okay.
But you'll need to engage in charm as a skill to make use of it, which of course you may not want to do. That's a different question. All right, so you're all dressed. Now, just before we move on, Mr. Duplessis, you're at Elston's,
Yes.
Elstone's, Muslims, Isaac Elston. There's a somewhat a gentleman. How old would he be? He'd be 38. Okay, that's how old he'd be. Right, perfect. Isaac Elston greets you as you come in the doors. Ah, sir, very lovely to see you. Welcome to my humble abode. What, may I ask, is the nature of your business, sir?
Hello, my good man. I am here looking for some new clothing. There is the Great North Lakes Ball. I work for. I'm a very great friend and confidant of Lady Purbeck, who I'm sure you are aware of, and she has asked me to escort her and her nieces to the ball. So of course I must look my best. And I thought, being quite new to the town, and I hear that you are also quite new, that maybe we could help each other out. You could fit me with some dazzling clothes, and I could spread the word of your fantastic designs and work as I go.
So just to clarify, Reginald is taking on the role of an influencer. He's turned up. He's saying, "Can I have the freebies, please? Because I'm going to get you some extra clicks." That's what I'm going to get you, buddy.
Still, I'm just going to paint this. Yes, that's right.
Or better still, who's the guy that's with you? Oh, he's my painter. Just paints
He's very
things while I
swift.
move. He's very swift. All right.
Sorry,
could you? Sorry.
Sorry, who's with you? Because I'm not with him.
No one's with him. It was
just me.
Okay, good.
Just him. So you. So would you like to make a? I feel like it could be either charm or persuade. I'm probably persuadable either way, as it
Definitely
were.
Charm, if I have the option.
Yep.
Yes.
I was kind of feeling it was more charm than persuade, so no, that works.
Okay. Hang on, that's
Which
90.
which
It's too
92.
slimy.
Would you
my
like to?
charm is
Would
65.
you like
That's
to?
my best skill.
Would you like to push that roll?
I believe that it would be in the interests of entertainment for fun for all of us. I must definitely push that roll.
So the consequence of a failure is he just flatly refuses to give you any credit.
That's okay. That's fine. No problem. I thought worse it would be something like he designed something for me, but then it's got a hole in the bum or something like that. So
no. But he will talk to other people.
He may gossip.
Yeah, that's fair. That's okay. I'm not the one.
Okay.
Well, okay. Let's try that. Yes.
Oh, that's much better. But only just. But he made it.
Much better. I don't know if the words "much better" are the ones I'd use. I mean, I'll take
maybe
marginally better. Could have been worse. All right. So on that note, so he's persuaded by your very fine relationship with Lady Purbeck that you realise the thing that had probably not helped you was the very real reality that you have a French accent. And no matter how much you protest, it's Belgian. You're in a place who's just fought a 15-year long. Well, not really 15-year long. It depends. You know, there was some peace in the middle of that. There were some truces, but ultimately 15-year long war with the French. So yes, but luckily, you know, you're calling out of Lady Purbeck and your emphatic statement of your very special relationship with Lady Purbeck has saved the day once again. So on that note, he agrees to make you new clothes for the ball.
Yes, fantastic. Right.
So let's just, you know, a week or so later, the clothes are picked up and you find yourselves entering Northlake Manor. It's the manor itself is huge. It's the biggest, most wealthy establishment. They have large grounds. They've been in Tarryford longer than Tarryford's been Tarryford. Rumor has it they can trace their lineage back to at least the 1300s. So 500 odd years, give or take. As you arrive in your carriage, torches have been, you know, stood up the entire length of the drive down to the manor, and lit with, you know, servants running around keeping them lit because they go out sometimes, and so people are running around keeping them. I mean, you don't really notice that because they're just servants after all. But can I assume that you all arrive in a single carriage and decamp, as it were?
Yeah.
And Rector, are you arriving with the set?
Oh, of course. So, I mean, Lady Purbeck has asked for me to be there, and yes, I'll be there. So I will join them.
Of course.
Yes, I require the Rector to escort me.
Okay. So
for
you
what
enter
reason, I have no idea.
So you enter into a large. You're sort of greeted at the stairs by, you know, by the head servant, who ushers you through to a large ballroom. The ballroom is absolutely packed with the very finest people from Tarryford and surrounds. There are the Potterton family, who you've already seen. There are a number of other families moving around. I might just get some names. Give me 1 sec. I'll just flick over to the other screen. I should say the one problem with running this game out of the hotel room is, of course, I don't have two screens. There's the Ashes, who are reasonably famous for being quite religious. But the only other eligible bachelor of any particular age, Master Philip Asher, who has just turned 14. So perhaps a bit young.
Decidedly too young.
Is decidedly too young. Is also around. Obviously, the North Lakes are here. Now, the ball is all about Miss Elizabeth Northlake, who is the oldest daughter of the Northlake family, the only daughter, as a matter of fact, only child even. She's 16 years old, just about to make her arrival in the scene. She's devastatingly attractive and quite famously witty, and doted on by the entire Northlake family as their heir in all. So she's there. I don't know if anyone wants to volunteer to know Elizabeth, but I will just ask Eliza and Georgiana. Do either of you have any relationship with either Elizabeth or the Pottertons?
I mean, I think that Georgiana would definitely know them by, by sight, name, that sort of thing. However, she's a fair bit older than Elizabeth, so I don't think there'd be anything much in the way of, friendship or anything like that any more than, a how do you do type thing.
Yep. And Eliza, any claims that you want to make?
I think that that for Elizabeth, I think that she kind of strikes me as one of those people, or one of those kids that would just be like at parties, kind of like saying something witty to someone and just kind of getting like giggling a little bit and then running away. Like I imagine there's kind of been a lot of those kind of moments throughout the years of her. But she's kind of been maybe a little bit infantile, whereas now she's kind of growing older. I think that Eliza's interested to see what sort of person she's kind of grown into. Maybe they haven't seen her in a while. But other than that, no. But in terms of the Pottertons, I think that Eliza feels that it was a very bad thing that happened to that family. And I think that like with her, kind of close relationship to Clara, I think that they are friends. They perhaps go on walks and, exchange notes and what have you on things that they're reading. But I don't know. I feel like, and please feel free to say, that this is not the case, but I feel that Marianne Potterton is probably quite overbearing. And perhaps Clara has she finds it a bit stifling, even though she recognizes her sister's just trying to do the best for them. So I think that there's perhaps kind of a thought in Eliza's head that, that look, this is a family that has experienced a really tragic thing. And in her own small way, she kind of supports Clara on those walks and in those conversations.
So you've called Clara almost to a T.
Well,
so definitely are on the right track there. So Clara definitively loves her older sister, understands that she's trying to do the best for her family, but actually doesn't understand why her sister isn't doing it for herself. Like she's like, look, I just want to go and read books. Why don't you get married? Since you seem to think it's such a good idea. Because I would actually be happy just to read books and you could get married. The dynamics of the Potterton family simplistically are Marianne has turned into the old maid of the family well before her time and is desperate to marry off her younger sisters and ensure that her younger brother also, finds the appropriate match. Clara absolutely does not want to get married, wants to read books, would go to would go to the equivalent of university if she could get away with it. The next older sister, Susan, however, is 100% on board with marry me off now, get me out of this house. And Lucy is tricky. Lucy and Charles, her also another younger brother, frequently get in trouble. And Lucy's like 11 and well below age. So yes, so that's kind of how they all roll. And George, the brother, I think it's George, is really very, 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 very good at making money. Has made a lot of money in London. All right. So you've arrived. Now you can see the set or the ton in full flight. You can all see various things happening. The usual way things would work is there's a whole bunch of people dancing, which is more of a young person's show, and there's games, mostly cards, being played by both women and men of a certain age as a sort of more quiet event. In addition to that, you can seek out friends or even potential paramours to try and connect with them. And then finally, you can make the most dangerous of all things. You can seek to get yourself introduced formally to the North Lakes. Now, Lady Purbeck probably doesn't need to be introduced formally. She's met them before and she belongs to the upper crust of this group. Because what's your credit rating? What's Purbeck's credit rating?
It was good. I can't see where it is on my sheet though. Credit rating, 70. Yes, it's very good.
Yeah, so you're very good. You're not at North Lake level. They're like 90. They're like seriously rich. But you're still very wealthy. So you're not completely out of play, as it were, with them. So I guess the question for all of you is, you see this great swirling ball. What would you like to do? Would you like to enter into dance? Would you like to connect with the young Miss Elizabeth Northlake, who you can see is kind of, exactly per the description that was just given, sort of still partly acting childish, still partly not acting childish, like in that liminal zone. And you've got the card games and other things that you can also seek to enter into, or you could seek an invitation to chat to the North Lakes themselves.
I, for one, I am. Reginald is definitely on the sniff, which is the terrible phrase, but I do like it. It's awful. So he's looking for, middle-aged, so maybe woman playing cards, something like that, circle the room, have a bit of a look around. But yes, he is definitely looking for something.
Beautiful. Reginald is everything really that we've come to expect from Reginald.
Not
Reginald, would you like to? Could you make a luck roll for me, please?
Indeed. Oh shit!
Is such a person floating around as a
Fuck. Yeah.
Not so much.
Goody.
A
that
90.
is literally my highest skill, 75, and I failed that as well. Okay.
And unfortunately, you can't push a luck roll.
No.
So
does that mean he gets spotted by like a really old lady, or the Lady Purbeck just like grabs him and introduces him to?
I should have also said that I'm not. He's not completely adverse to handsome, wealthy men as well. So either way, that should have got me a bonus dice. But that other means that I've attracted someone who's poor or unattractive or no one. That's how I feel that sort of goes.
Well, can I ask a question?
Well, you
like,
yep.
How do we feel about him attempting to go and find someone, like that he wanted, but instead finds himself face to face with Marianne Potterton and trapped in a conversation with her?
Well,
Because honestly, I feel like Eliza wants to set them up.
The thing is,
Like,
I did write a word. I did write a note about Marianne, and it was severe. She dresses quite severely, so yeah, maybe that's the result of a failed roll. I'm fine with that. However you want to play that.
Can you make a etiquette roll for me, please?
Apparently not the way I'm rolling tonight, but we'll give it a shot. Ooh, yes, I can.
Beautiful.
See?
Whew.
All right.
I've forgotten how to check these things. How do we check the things on the sheet? I'm sorry, I've forgotten.
I think it's a double click on the little starburst icon.
Yeah, it just comes up with
Or even
XP gain disabled. Is that right? It's not changing colours at all.
Oh. Is it? I just did it for you and it worked.
Okay, I can't see that here, but that's fine because I was trying to do the charm one from earlier, but I can't see that either. Anyway, that's fine.
Mine is doing the same thing when I try and double click. Yeah, because none of my skills have been ordered at.
Yeah.
You know what? Sorry, I should explain. There was a new version of the core rule module that came out, and I did note that when I turned it on, or when I accepted it, it came up with a couple of messages that I didn't quite track. So hold on, what was the message that you're all getting?
It's just weird when I double click on, say, the charm or the etiquette one.
Yeah, it says XP gain disabled.
That's right. Yes.
XP gain disabled. Okay.
And I tried it with the lock unlocked as well, but you can only edit the value of the thing, so I didn't want to touch that.
Okay. Initiative. Okay, so first of all, Regency standard. Can't see it written here, but it must be in here somewhere. Sync dice, developer debugs. Okay, well, let's change that for a start. And characters can gain XP. Okay, there was a single. Okay, it was in another place. So I've double clicked your charm and your etiquette. What was the other one you made?
Yeah, those two. Yeah, that's right.
Those two?
Yes, please. Yes, thank you.
And I think Eliza had a pretty decent run.
Yeah, I've just ticked them now. It's working.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. Awesome. Sorry for that. I don't know
thank you.
Quite how that had become unticked. And then again. Okay, so all right, so you don't cause social embarrassment in your desperate hunt for an eligible bachelorette. However, you do see, or rather, you encounter another person who's probably behaving in quite a similar way to you. And you know him. So somehow Isaac Elston has gotten himself an invite to the ball. You don't know how he's done that because, of course, he is a commoner.
Yes, of course, right.
And he's a merchant, and with all the connotation of that word, a haberdasherer even. But somehow Elston is stalking around, and you are watching him stalk around, and you are struck by the similarity of his behaviours, perhaps to the ones that you were seeking to display. A fox knows another fox, as it were.
A fox knows a dog, I think is what we a mangy dog. I would greet him, Mr. Elston, to make your acquaintance again. I must say thank you again for the clothes. I look magnificent, and some of that is down to your most excellent work. Thank you. How was your evening going? You seem to be very motivated this evening.
Oh, look, I'm just here. I was lucky enough to be invited at the last moment, thanks to the work I've done for the North Lakes themselves in preparing clothing. So I'm just lucky enough, blessed enough to be here. Obviously.
You know the North Lakes. You have connections in very circles. That most impressive. Obviously, there must be fans of your work, much like myself.
Absolutely. Anyway, I look at lovely chatting, but I really must get on. And he quickly disengages from you, and returns to his own.
Just have that look of Fox's. Just good luck, all the best. May the best merchant win, I guess. Thank you.
May the best very dodgy older 30s, late early 40s male win. All right. So for the rest of you, then, so that's what Reginald's doing. He's off hunting for a likely catch.
Lady
what about
is
the rest
definitely
of you?
making a beeline to the host to thank them for putting on such a beautiful ball.
Okay, so as you approach them, you can see there's a bit of a line of people. It's the usual, greeting line kind of thing, lining up. It's all very discreet. It's not an obvious line.
No, but
it's clearly a line.
I've played this game a long time. I know how to line up.
Yep. There's an ordering, if you will, of that's happening. The North Lakes currently, who's the head of the North Lakes? It's Richard, I think, but don't quote me on that. What's his name? There's Elizabeth. Yep, got her. Sir James. And note, he is a sir.
Yes.
Peer of the realm.
He's proper nobility and everything. He's not just a gentleman.
Can I show my age there and say, "Oh, Ardy, Sir James"? Does anyone get that?
Yes.
Yes.
Well,
okay.
I'm Viscountess as well. The only reason that my credit rating's probably gone down is because I'm now the Dowager.
True. So he is wealthier than you. He's a baronet.
Yeah.
And he's his family are attached, as it were. So there's him, and then there's his wife, who is. No, that's Elizabeth, not her. Go away, Elizabeth. You're boring.
He would have been. How old is he?
Oh, Lady Lydia. That's right, Lydia Northlake. No, he's probably a bit young.
Yeah.
He's sort of, let's say, early 40s.
Oh, yes. So my husband
you might know
would have been probably
the slightly older
and
Northlakes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the woman, the sort of the family matriarch is a Miss Sarah Coombs, who's 71. And then there's the Dowager Lady Northlake, Emma, who is 59.
Oh, so I'm probably friends with her.
So which one would you know best?
The Dowager.
Right. Okay. So, yeah, I figured that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So as you
very similar
approach,
ages. Yeah.
Can I? Yeah. So can you make a psychology roll for me, please?
Psychology. Where is that? Oh, dear God, probably not.
Standard 10%. Ooh.
Oh,
100.
oh. Oh
No, because
it's a critical point.
of that. It's so wrong.
The opposite of that. That's what I was looking for. They said the opposite of that. I was looking for the opposite of that. Okay, so you forge forward and start to have this conversation with your dear friend, Emma. It's a lovely chat, and you're having a great time. And then in the middle of the conversation, Emma stops, looks at you blankly. What's the name of your husband?
It was actually Reginald as well. Viscount Reginald Purbeck.
Okay. Where's Reginald? She says to you in this very direct voice.
Oh. Do you mean I'm your dancing master? I mean,
No. Your husband. I haven't seen him here tonight.
You know, my dear Reggie passed these 5 years ago.
Oh, no, you're being silly. I'm sure I saw him just the other day, she says.
My darling Emma, what are you saying?
Well, Reginald, I mean, remember we were just out on the lawn having tea just the other day. I remember, you know, I should know what I don't have a name for her husband. Edmund. Oh, I do have a name for her husband. Wynne. You know, myself, yourself, Edmund, Reginald out on the lawn taking tea. It was beautiful. Now her husband, Edmund, has been dead longer than your husband.
Dead, you say?
All right. Have you? You haven't taken a turn, have you?
No.
Our husbands are dead. Your
At
darling
this point, she gets quite annoyed at you. She starts to get really annoyed. She's like, no. We were out on the lawn just the other day. And I am, you know, and she's recalling this moment, which you vaguely recall. Like it happened.
Probably happened like 10 years ago.
Exactly right. Could you make an etiquette roll for me, please? Because the person you're seeking to talk to is getting more and more angry as you're having this conversation.
18. Excellent.
Okay, so it becomes obvious to you that you need to de-escalate this conversation because you're about to have one of those public moments.
This is just not working.
Always happy to offer my assistance if you need de-escalation, my dear.
Yes, of course I remember. That was the lovely party we had together. Just trying to get one of those waiters to come after the wine to give to her.
So you step away from the nuclear device at this point, leaving it as, at least at this moment, unactivated or deactivated, and disengage. As you step away, you see the much older, but quite severe and certainly more terrifying Sarah Coombs sort of come forth. And, you know, Sarah's whip smart. And she sort of, wraps her arm around Emma and says, Emma, darling, you do really, perhaps we should take the airs, and sort of leads Emma out into the garden through one of the side doors, leading out into the very large gardens that attach to the ball area itself. All right. So, Georgiana, Eliza, and Cedric. What are you
I'm
guys
going to
doing?
jump in. So my plan. It's of course one must have a plan. is that because like so the North Lakes. So of course, Lord and Lady North Lake are kind of receiving guests and what have you. What's happening with Elizabeth North Lake?
Well, she's currently. Sorry, I'm just going to grab some water. Give me 1 sec.
Yeah, fine. Don't you hate it when you have a coughing fit? Horrible. It's that time of year.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone got your shots?
Mm.
Unfortunately, they
Shot from
changed
Libra.
it, so you can only get them once a year now.
Oh, God.
What can you only get once a year? I missed
Flu
that.
shots.
Oh, no, I was
yeah,
talking
got
about
one on-
COVID vaccines.
Oh. Yeah,
but
that
yeah,
too.
I got my flu shot. I sort of have to, so yeah.
That's next week's job. All right, so sorry, Eliza, if you will.
No worries. Yeah, where is Elizabeth? Because if she
So
is
you
in
see
any way
her-
away from her parents, I would go directly to her because I understand socially this is actually her party. And she might be able to introduce me to her parents, which then has the flow-on effect of being seen. So
very nice. Okay, you see her running with. She's hanging with the younger of the two Potterden, the two most eligible Potterdens. I think it was Clara, wasn't it?
Yeah, Clara. Yeah.
And
Yeah,
Susan?
no,
Susan is the
Susan.
younger.
That's Susan.
Yeah.
They're the same age, basically. So Susan's 17, she's 16. So you see them sort of laughing and then grabbing. So they're sort of talking to each other, and they've grabbed a piece of like the ribbon from around a dress, and they're sort of holding it up like this, like holding it up as if it was being used for some purpose. And then they're both giggling, and then they run down this corridor with it.
Right. Well, this is taking me back to when she was 12. So I think that I wait at the exact location that they run from, knowing that in moments they will run back to this location. And when they come back, I kind of like look specifically at Eliza. I'm Eliza. At Miss Northlake, and kind of with a, I want to say a kind of like a kindly expression, because it's kind of like you still haven't grown out of this, have you? It's that sort of expression. And I kind of just like look at her kindly and say, Miss Northlake, wonderful to see you. And
can
as
I
well,
pause you there?
Yeah.
Can I pause you there? Because they don't come back.
Okay.
So your whole supposition is based on the fact that they're coming back. So you're standing there. You've positioned yourself to catch and release, as it were. And you hear them chattering away in the corridor. And they are moving towards you, but it is not running. They are moving very slowly, laughing a little bit and going, "No, I tell you, it's true." And the other one's going, "No, it can't be true. No, look, I'm telling you, that's why I've got this." And you can hear them having this conversation as they're moving down the corridor.
All right. I mean, look, if if we were 3 sessions from now, baby, I'd be sick in the shadows and spot hiddening. But instead, I think I'm not thinking that there's anything that more that I might want to know about these people at this point. And I think that if I've waited maybe more than 2 or 3 minutes in one place and they're not rushing across to me, I'm going to directly intervene and kind of interject. So
you move into the corridor.
Yes.
So the corridor is quite long. At the far end of it, you can see that what they seem to be doing is that classic measuring thing. So they've got this long ribbon, and each of them is holding the two ends of it, and they place it against the wall, and then one holds the one at the end moving towards you, pushes their thumb against the end, and the other one moves past them with the ribbon and then stretches it out, and then she holds it, and then the next one stretches it out, and so forth and so on. So they're measuring their way down the corridor quite slowly, actually, and with quite a bit of consideration, and then chattering away about, no, it can't be true. It can't be possible. And the other one's going, no, I tell you it is. And they're measuring this corridor for reasons that you can't quite ascertain, but there seems to be some furious conversation about measuring the corridor going on.
I think that, again, not detecting anything. No. Because this is just a childhood game. Young children don't understand physics. I mean, I don't. I'm a woman, but like
they don't understand the world.
Exactly, the world, right? And also like doing this at a party that's kind of being held in your honor. Come on, ladies.
Yep, exactly. I'm hearing you.
So I think that, like, channeling Lady Purbeck, I think that she kind of
your spirit animal.
Exactly, my spirit animal, moving down the corridor towards them, and kind of attempts to interject. Yeah.
Okay, well, you do. So you move down the corridor. They're both busy measuring, moving down. They see you coming. They stop. Elizabeth, who recognizes you, goes, "Oh, Eliza, how are you?"
Elizabeth, I am so well. I just wanted to, I wanted to seek you out, actually, because, of course, this party is partly in your honor, and I just wanted to, have a look at you. And she kind of like appraises her. Not that I want to roll the appraise skill. I don't really have that, but like just looks at her and kind of says, "You are, of course, the vision of loveliness. And it is so lovely to see you out."
And it's lovely to see you at this party. I mean, my parents have put it on, but actually, because you're quite. Now, hold on. I'm going to get mixed up here. So Eliza is not the bookish one. It's Georgiana who's the bookish one, right?
I am
you
the
bookish as well?
Yeah, I'm also bookish.
Oh, actually, no, Georgiana's developed a sudden passion for books. Sorry, I had that wrong.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that Georgiana did always have the passion for books. She was more into the whole natural sciences, biology, history, that sort of thing. But she might have got slightly more into it recently.
Slightly. Where is your? And are you cousins? I can never remember.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah. Where's your cousin? She'd be perfect for this.
Oh, really? Perfect for what?
Well, I know this is weird. It's going to sound weird, but I tell you, this corridor is longer than it was last week.
Interesting. Honestly, I've seen you with that ribbon. I assume that you've been measuring something.
Well,
but
yes.
I quite agree. That sounds like a mystery. And I do know someone who's quite good at mysteries, but also discerning nature. Then that is my cousin. You are correct. It might be good if you accompany me quickly to have a quick word of thanks to your parents, and we can go and find Georgiana together.
Can I get a charm roll, please?
Yes, absolutely, and I will probably fail that, but I want to try anyway. Okay, all right. No.
Once again, may I offer you the opportunity to put... Oh, hold on. Oh, no, that's right. It was Georgiana who had the bonus for charm rolls.
No, I don't think that I will push on on a request to the daughter of the people who own this place.
Well, she goes, well, oh, is that happening at my end or your end? It's come back. Okay, good.
Oh, yeah.
Am I back?
Yeah.
Was there a issue?
Yeah,
there
it
was
just
a little
bit.
Okay, yep, great. Yeah, I think my Wi-Fi streaming down through the hotel Wi-Fi was not quite what I was hoping it would be. Look, of course, but I think so. You try and persuade her to introduce you to her parents, which is the bit you're trying to pull off in this conversation. She goes, "Oh well, you must come with me, but we must find your cousin immediately. She would be perfect." And she sort of guides you out into the room and starts looking around for Georgiana. She's completely uninterested in engaging with her own parents. And despite your very valiant efforts to, but your parents, are just over there. Look, I can see them from where we're standing. You can just, that's not fine.
Look, honestly, though, I mean, it's kind of, I think there is kind of a whimsy in that, which is fun, because I do feel like there is a stuffiness sometimes, these kinds of parties, and the fact that they're running around with ribbons, yes, it's childish, but I think Eliza's also like, all right, we're on the quest to find my cousin. Okay.
All right, so she sweeps you towards Georgiana. Georgiana, you are doing whatever you were doing when Elizabeth... Oh, go. Yes, please. What are you doing?
Depending on whether you let me do this or not, I might not actually be there. So the main reason that Georgiana was actually quite interested in coming to the ball was that she knows that the North Lakes have a fantastic library. She has in the past perfected the art of being able to slip away from the balls and spend most of the time in the library. In the past, it was mainly, she'd be after history books, novels, pretty much anything. But now, given what she may have learned, she's interested in maybe seeing if there's any books of a more esoteric nature there that she might have overlooked before. So
expanded your reading horizons.
Yes, exactly. What happened was that as Lady Purbeck was going up to see the Dowager Lady Northlake, she, of course, was escorting Lady Purbeck. Then as they got into the conversation and Lady Purbeck became increasingly engaged in that increasingly strange conversation, she would, take a few steps back, a few steps back, a few steps back. And then she was close enough to the door that she, just slipped out and went to the library.
Okay, so a successful dismount from the ball. I will need you to make a stealth roll first of all. If you fail, that's okay. You can still make other rolls. But could you see how well you disengage for me, please?
I don't think this is going to work well, but no, that did not go well.
No. Could you make an etiquette roll for me, please?
Okay, that's not going to go well either, but we'll see. Oh, no. Unfortunate.
Okay, so you're completely capable of exiting the ball. However, you are noticed. And as a result, you lose reputation.
Okay. Worth it.
You lose 2 points of reputation as people notice you abandoning, this ball and disappearing off by yourself, which is very suspect. You're not being appropriately chaperoned. As you leave, you disappear off by yourself, which of course makes some people suspicious, although you aren't seen leaving with a man, so there's no actual proof. but there is the rumor, the very small possibility that you might have been going off to see a paramour, because I can assure you, no one thinks you're going off to read books.
I mean, if they knew me, they might.
That's the beauty of, Regency period, treatment of women. Is that's not what they think. They think.
Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to change my reputation from 53 to 51.
You'll need to unlock it.
Yeah, I clicked unlock. I've tried twice now, and I've changed 53 to 51. But then as soon as I click lock again, it changes back to 53.
Okay, I will. Okay, and for some reason, although I suspect I know why, I have lost my ability to do very much at all on the screen. So let me see if I can fix that first. I'm just going to re-download the thing and see if I can edit. Double click on your sheet now. Come. When it opens up. Anyway, we'll sort that out in a sec. I will sort that out. So you are definitely seen leaving the plays. Now, Cedric, we haven't. What's our mate Cedric up to?
Well, Cedric is there. He's basically just strolling around, listening into conversations, spotting things, trying to gather a bit of rumors around. He might go to the gaming tables, although he's very bad at it. He might play a game of whist or something. But for the most part, he's wandering around listening and consoling people who look like they're kind of a little bit astray. That's what he's doing. All of Eliza's Eliza's refusals and so forth. There's probably a line of them.
Yeah. I can't make your reputation go down either, by the way. So I don't know what's going on there. Anyway, I'll put it out later. So Cedric is just traveling around meeting people.
Yeah. If I see, I mean, I'm watching Lady Purbeck and her activities as well.
Yes.
So
I think I would definitely seek you out after the conversation with the Dowager Emma finishes, because I'm quite shocked by what she was saying to me.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, I query about it some more, but I take it the gardens they've retreated to are open to anybody to attend and take.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Matter of fact, people are going in and out all the time, going for strolls in the garden. It's quite part of the normality of the experience.
All right. Well, I'll wander out to the gardens to take in some airs and just take in the night, as a nice old gentleman does, turning on the charm and the pleasantness.
Okay. So
moving
after
kind of close to the person that Lady Purbeck was talking to.
Okay. By the way, sorry, we should do I just realised we didn't do the one thing that we should have done. Could I get a library use roll from Georgiana, please?
Okay. This is something that I hope she's actually good at, if I can find it. Oh, there we go. It's okay. Oh, that's a failure. Can she spend?
But only by 4. Yes, you can.
Spend 4 points of luck?
Mm-hmm.
And I forget how I spend. Okay. Well, how did you say that we do the luck spending?
I think if you click on the number 54 on the chat window,
I've got it. Yeah.
You can say spend 4 luck.
Okay,
and there it is.
I am less lucky.
You are. Okay. in your research, you don't find any actual esoterica, but your eye is drawn to the family Bible, which is always an interesting read because secrets of past are often kind of contained within the family Bible, and at the very front of it. Hold on, where is that? Where is that? That's in the Bible. North Lake Family Records, the Family Bible. Yeah. Okay. So you're looking through it. There's this big family tree drawn in the front two panels, with all of these descendants going back to 1448, with Thomas Northlake as the original founder. On the verso, on the sort of other side of that page, is the following words: I confess my sins here in this holy Bible, that God may see my crime and forgive my worthless soul. I did see the black altar and spilled that most precious blood upon it. I did it to stop the monsters. May God forgive me, as I surely cannot forgive myself. And as you read that, you hear the voices of a number of young women coming down the corridor to the library because they've been told where you are. And that is where we'll stop it tonight.
Fabulous.
Wow. That's a dark secret hidden in the family Bible.
Yeah, interesting. I think this is going to be quite it's like a miniature sort of sandbox trying to find all the clues. I think I have a slightly different take on how how I'll approach it next week. So, or next time.
Could I